there's no reason they should be redacted. He said all they do is create a money trail that shows that the Saudis were the finances behind 9/11. And I bet if you continue that money trail, lo and behold, it could even report back to this country in some way, shape, or form.
Well, if you ever become president, I hope you put Walter Jones in your cabinet, because he's a very honorable person, but he doesn't get all the attention Ron Paul does.
Well, he's still elected in there, and so people need to pay attention to this guy, because as much as I admire Dr. Paul's now a civilian like me. And once you're a civilian, you have no power in the government. Right now, Congressman Jones is in that government, so therefore he has the power of what it's worth of actually still being in there.
That's right. We're getting him on next week. All right, Governor Jesse.
For how long he'll be there, I don't know.
We got to support him. All right, coming back, Jesse Ventura, former Minnesota governor, fighting to promote liberty and a great awakening. Stay with us.
Hey, Boomer! I learned in school today that 60% of our bodies are made of water. Good thing we have the Berkey system. It's the cleanest, best water ever. Mom says it's because the Berkey's filtration system cleans out the bad stuff and leaves only pure, delicious water. I know, right? You love it too. Yeah, I'm thirsty too. Let's go get some. Get Berkey clean water by calling 877-886-3653. That's 877-886-3653. Or visit GoBerkey.com.
Digestive health is key to wellness, and Pro-EM1 is the key to digestive health. Pro-EM1 is a daily liquid probiotic that improves food absorption and supports weight loss by removing toxins from your system. Recommended by doctors, Pro-EM1 is 100% natural, organic, non-GMO, wheat, soy, gluten, and dairy-free. Call us today at 888-611-8025 or visit ProEM1.com to save over $25 on your order. That's 888-611-8025 or PROEM1.com.
You've heard about the essential qualities of iodine when it comes to your well-being, and you've read the opinions of top experts regarding this good member of the halogen family. Still, reports indicate that iodine is absent in sufficient amounts from the daily lives of countless people worldwide. Now, our extra-strength new nascent iodine formula is here, Survival Shield X2, leading the way into the next generation of super high-quality nascent iodine. InfoWars Life Survival Shield X2 is derived from 200+ million-year-old salt solutions found more than 7,000 feet below the Earth's surface. The result is a unique nascent iodine that is both concentrated and free of unwanted additives, genetically modified ingredients, and completely vegan. We even pre-screen our Survival Shield X2 iodine for radiation. Pure, clean, and sourced from deep within the Earth, X2 nascent iodine is available exclusively at InfoWarsLife.com, InfoWarsStore.com, or call 1-888-253-3139.
Americans, prepare for financial ruin. That is what one of the world's richest men, Donald Trump, said just a few weeks ago. What are you doing to prepare? The problems that caused the last financial crisis were never fixed. In fact, they're even worse now. The total amount of debt in the U.S. has grown by more than 57% since September 2008. The too big to fail banks are much larger, and the massive derivatives bubble is spiraling so far out of control that the only thing left to do is watch the spectacular crash landing that is inevitably coming. If you're a baby boomer with retirement funds, it's time you consider exiting the Wall Street casino and start a cash-flowing international business of your own. There may be ways to preserve your wealth, but history has shown that few things can grow your wealth like having your own business. The crash is coming. Take measures now to soften the landing. Go to babyboomerbackupplan.com or call 888-507-8789. That's babyboomerbackupplan.com.
The most important thing you should have next to water and food is a safe, storable fuel supply for your preparedness needs. Spare fuel is the answer. With the harsh, bitterly cold winter that's predicted this year, it's more important than ever to have spare fuel on hand. Spare fuel can be used in any gas-powered vehicle or generator. It's also perfect for chainsaws, tractors, and other small gas engines. Use spare fuel alone, or mix it with any amount of regular gasoline to extend the supply of gas you do have on hand. Spare fuel is absolutely essential for unforeseen emergencies. Store spare fuel in your vehicle's trunk or cargo bay and use it in case you run out of gas on the highway. Unlike gasoline, spare fuel is also safe to store with your other supplies, and it can be stored for many, many years. For a special bulk pricing, go to GetSpareFuel.com. That's GetSpareFuel.com now.
Minnesota Governor Jesse Ventura is our guest. We'll put it up on screen for TV viewers. This popular online TV show is attracting big crowds. And again, we'll tweet out the link at Real Alex Jones on Twitter as well. But going back to the governor in this short segment, we're going to open the phones up in the next segment for any question or comment. We don't censor your calls. We just ask that it's a quick question or a comment for the governor, not a diatribe like I would do. The toll-free number is 800-259-9231, 800-259-9231. Now, this is a short segment, Governor. I want to get into the police state with you. In your TV shows, you've warned about it for years. I've been talking about it forever. Armored vehicles, MRAPs being delivered to public schools, NSA spying. It's all for the American people. Now we learned in Albuquerque, where earlier this year they shot that unarmed homeless man and let a dog chew on his dead body, that as the police drove up the hill, we have the clip, they said, quote, "I'm going to shoot him right in the male member," says cop before executing him. Here's another headline today. Florida woman arrested for possession of SpaghettiOs. Cop sees car, and then when the man says get a warrant, they say, we're going to seize your car for exercising your rights. I mean, it's stacks of this, and I'm not just bashing police themselves, but the system is definitely trying to turn our police into something out of The Running Man. I mean, they're trying to turn the police into the character you played in that hit Schwarzenegger film. Your take on that?
Well, you know, it's funny you say that, Alex, because I did an interview on my show, and this interviewee brought up The Running Man again. I mean, I'm hearing more and more talk out there about The Running Man, and people need to understand the film I did with Arnold, The Running Man, it's written by Richard Bachman, who in reality was Stephen King. Now, I have all the respect in the world for Stephen King. He's a phenomenal writer, but I do not want to live in a world of Stephen King's imagination, and that's what The Running Man was. Stephen King's look at the future and the use of his imagination. Well, he's too bizarre for the reality of the world. Bless him for what he does entertaining us, but I don't want to live in a Stephen King world. And that's the way we're heading towards The Running Man. I mean, we discovered that the TSA eventually down the line is going to give airplane travelers these wristbands that will have all your vitals on it. With my show Conspiracy Theory, that was the episode they wouldn't allow on. We found out they were going to use these wristbands, and everybody jump on board. Oh, I got the wristband, all my vitals, that's all I got to have. What they weren't going to tell you is that wristband would decommission you like a taser.
Yes.
Everyone wearing them. So anyone in the airport could be dropped to the floor in convulsions if you're wearing these things. And, much the same as The Running Man. If you remember when Arnold escaped, he had the thing around his neck, and he had to have it taken off by Mick Fleetwood. Otherwise, they could activate it, and it would blow his head off. And so, we're heading that direction.
Sure.
And people better wake up to the fact that our police is supposed to be a reflection of us. They are not to be the military. Our police are turning far more military today than to be a reflection of society. And I'm against having all these armored vehicles. I'm against all these policemen who look like stormtroopers now. They even wear the Nazi-like looking helmets. You can't even see their faces. They come out. And I understand police is a dangerous job. But if you look at the statistics, I believe there's at least 10 other jobs that are more dangerous. Am I right on that?
Yes, and most cops get killed in car wrecks, and it's all for intimidation. It's all federally, worldwide, the police are going to this model under the RAND Corporation. It's an admitted plan to basically take over countries. They call it a national stabilization force. That sounds like something out of The Running Man as well.
Oh, yeah, very much so, and it's ridiculous, and it's time that we... You know, I don't know how many times, Alex, I can tell people the only way out of this is to stop voting for Democrats and Republicans. I mean, I'm sick of saying it because nobody bothers to listen, and they keep electing them over and over again. You know, they're like the mouse or on the treadmill. They can't get off it. And until our populace can get off the treadmill, this is what we're going to face.
You're right. Former Minnesota Governor Jesse Ventura is our guest. And if we'll put him back up on screen, you go to aura.tv/off the grid. If you just type in Jesse Ventura off the grid into a search engine, it comes right up. You can find his Facebook, Twitter, and you can also find the censored shows from his conspiracy theory show on YouTube. They're always taking them down, but folks are putting them back up. I want to talk about web censorship with you, Governor, when we come back, because the inventor of the Internet, not Al Gore, but the real one, so there's an attempt to end the Internet because, yeah, the system can't compete with my show and your show, so what do you expect him to do to try to shut us down? Straight ahead with Jesse Ventura, your phone calls, and more.
We're on the march.
With GPS bracelets after banning Orwell's 1984 being sold in the country. Thailand, which began arresting citizens last summer for reading copies of George Orwell's 1984, is now considering tracking tourists with GPS devices. Thailand's tourism and sports minister, I won't try to pronounce this name, Kabakarn Wataanagavakarl, said the government is working with hotels and resorts to assign ID wristbands, including serial numbers of tourists, for future plans, including GPS tracking. Yes, first it comes out with the bracelet, and then they train you for it. The next step would be some sort of electronic device that would not yet be discussed in detail, he told Reuters. So that story just went up on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. Before we get into some of the other issues, Jesse, and where you think the world's going, and the attempts to censor the Internet that I was just mentioning before the break, your court case, you know, I follow the news, and there's still just a steady demonization campaign, kind of like when you were in Minnesota. They said you got pulled over by the cops at the airport starting fights, and you were in Minnesota when that happened and came on the show and said, I'm in Minnesota, not true. Fox News reported that first. Then they said, right when you drove into Mexico, that you'd been running around saying you were glad Navy SEALs were dead and had been beaten up. Of course, none of that was true, now proven in court. And then now I tune in. I mean, I just see stuff. Jesse Ventura's glad SEALs are dead. Jesse Ventura attacks widow when her insurance paid for it. I mean, what were you supposed to do? I mean, it's News Corp, and I'm not even attacking News Corp. I don't have a dog in the fight, but you're my friend. That's not true. News Corp published the book, and so they never tell people that. They just sit there. They really have it out for you. Why do you think that is?
Well, you know, they won't have me on either to allow me to defend myself. I cannot go on Fox News. We've tried on multiple occasions. They won't. Yet they trash me continually. Well, I'm a danger to them, and it's also because they have a major conflict of interest. News Corp owns both HarperCollins and Fox News. So if I win a lawsuit against HarperCollins, that's money out of Fox News' pocket, you know, up the corporate ladder. So they're being dishonest with the public and not telling them that they have a major conflict of interest and that they are with the HarperCollins book that, I might add, made $40 million off that book. Now, they paid the estate. Now let's go to the estate for a moment. I've been accused of going after the widow and her children. Well, it's not true. You cannot find one legal document that says I went after Taya Kyle, the widow. I sued Chris Kyle. Chris Kyle tragically died. Well, then it's standard procedure. The lawsuit shifts from the person to the person's estate. Taya Kyle, the wife, came in and became the executor of this estate by choice. She knew the lawsuit was there. She knew it was pending, and she chose to become part of it because the executor to an estate can be a lawyer, it can be an uncle, it can be anybody. The state approves it. She wanted it. She chose to do it. So she became the executor of the estate and entered into the lawsuit. Now, everything on her end was covered by insurance. She didn't have to pay for the big table of lawyers. She wasn't even involved in settlement talks. The last settlement talk, they wanted to leave her in Texas. She didn't even have to come up to be part of it from their side. And so, but yet the media continues to portray me like, who's the little guy on CNN who said, have I no shame, Anderson Cooper, and all this. And Fox News continues to say, well, witnesses showed, da-da-da. None of these people were ever in the courtroom, Alex. So when